In a broken wasteland, come to my fire.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Holy shit, we're starting this shit early today. Recording at the crisp hour of 10:30 in the morning, and I overslept because I watched 80s movies and couldn't sleep last night. But as you can see in the gallery, Jason Gardner from the Alehorn Heavy Metal Wasteland and Unsleeved and Flamekeeper Podcast Network. Awesome all-around guy, Temptations Wings drummer.
Al Borland salute there for that.
The Al Borland salute to Asheville Heavy Metal. And with us is Alonzi from All Hell, another Asheville heavy metal fucking black thrash band. Dude, it's been a minute. So how's it going?
It's been good, man. Just feel like we've been playing, shows like intermittently and everything, and prepping for the album release. We're just pretty stoked to finally get that out there because it's been pretty much like worked on this whole year. I think we recorded that in January, February, I think. So yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, man. It's interesting because we all have stuff coming out soon. Like Jason, you just had Stormforge come out.
Yep.
Officially by the time this releases, but by the time we record last Friday.
Yeah. Came out the 26th of September.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
September 26th. Awesome. And my band Icehow has some stuff coming out at the end of October. So it's really cool that we're all like, being able to unrelease, what the hell, release some pretty cool stuff to the metal world.
That's great. I mean, I haven't even heard what you got coming up, so I've heard Jason's, and it's pretty freaking rad.
Well, I mean, I would assume you heard Jason's. You did the artwork.
Yeah, there's that.
Everybody wants to hire Elon's talent here. Here's the artwork.
Dude, I'm going to sit here and say that yes to that. I absolutely love that because, I know Temptations Wings has the idea. They had the thing that you broke the mold on. That all of the EPs had black and white artwork.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, dude, that's pretty fucking good as it is. He's like, yeah, I know I think we're gonna have to forego the black and white this time. I was like, you should trust me, because I put the black and white filter on it, and it's like, no, it's not the same. Looks cool still, not as good though. And
I did try to kind of put it in black and white, like retroactively, and I'm like, I don't know, So, because he did mention that like midway through that process, and I'm like, well, we could, but
I'm already this much done with it.
Right.
Dude, that's how it always is, I think.
Yeah.
So you said you all started recording back around the beginning of the year, and now here it is finally out. And obviously you all did videos in that time as well. So as it's nearing release, because the official release date, I believe, is the 10th, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so by the time this by the drop of this, it's next Friday. Like, just run me through the process for All Hell. How does All Hell get together? How do you do the thing? Because today's world's so much different.
Yeah. Well, we have found a very cool way of working, because like when we need to get together to write or work on like a song, we usually already have like some of the concepts already worked on and made, and then we can really do that in the room together and flesh it out. And that's largely what we did. Jacob had a lot of ideas kind of going into this, and Eric and he had been working on this for a couple of years, really, prior to my joining the fold. But it all just kind of fleshed out when we did, and we went, and when we finally recorded, we know these songs like front to back, like the back of our hand now. And so all year, this year, we haven't even had like one single band practice. Like we've played all of our shows this year basically unrehearsed because we all just rehearse together, like at our houses or whatever, and we get
Sure.
together and we play the shows and everything's great, and we just get to hang out. So it's like when we're in work mode, we're in work mode, but then when we're in just like playing shows mode, like we can trust each other to really like come through.
Dude, that's awesome
Yeah.
because not a lot of bands can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an age thing at a certain point. Like, you know, especially for me when I got into my 30s, I quit being, especially my later 30s, like 35, 36, stuff like that. I quit being the gotta fucking do this. Gotta fuck it 3 days a week, guys. Come on. You know, you gotta fucking be I quit being that guy a lot of times and was able to trust each other to say, hey, I know you're gonna have your parts down. So dude, that's cool. That's cool as shit. I know Jason, his practice regime is every fucking Sunday, guys. Come on.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Except for today.
Well, there's a couple reasons why I didn't do it today, but yeah,
Well,
it just worked
the
out.
only no. There's one reason why, and he's sitting right here.
Oh yeah, well, of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like Elon was saying, like I was like anal about it too. Like for a long time, I was just like, no, we got to practice for every show. But now I'm just like, if Ryan doesn't show up, like as long as me and Micah just like fuck around and like go over some parts that I just like want to make sure I get for like my muscle memory bank, I'm pretty good. Like we played a couple shows that Ryan didn't show up for 2 weeks. He just comes in, plugs his pedal in, and it's like, dude, do you ever fuck up? And I was like, I don't know, and so yeah, it worked out good. So
It really depends on like the people that you got working with you too, because it's like I've been in bands where it's like it's not about the players not having their shit together. It's just some of them feel more comfortable when they like have that dynamic of like weekly rehearsals and whatever, and that's fine. It just so happens with All Hell, like we all like work on our stuff individually enough and kind of understand where we are when we come into the room. Like so, it's not like this is better than this. It just depends on your band dynamic and who you got, I think.
Oh, sure. No, it's absolutely right.
Yep.
And I think that's really cool because again, like I said, I think for me it was an age thing. It was a maturing factor that I needed to realize that not everybody needs to be, hammered like a drill sergeant kind of thing. It's like, dude, you got to relax a little bit.
Yep.
It's fucking, yeah, it's intense,
It makes it more fun that way too,
Yeah, it does. And no, Jason, Ryan does not make mistakes. Ryan is a machine.
Yes.
Well, he is a suave, debonair machine that gets hit on in rest areas by old fucking crackhead women.
Ooh. I don't know if the lady was a crackhead, but she was pretty gullible. I mean, we told her we were on the road with Skinner opening up for her, and she like bought it hook, line, and sinker.
You could have sold her a shirt, dude.
Tried. I gave her a live CD.
Oh gosh,
because we actually had to go. It's like, here, just take this and leave. We're actually running behind. As when we're coming up to your play the weekend with you. So yeah. Good stuff. But yeah, like I did find two small mistakes in the recording since we did do it live, and they're both like just slightly late bass hits. But I was like, they're not that bad. We'll just leave them in. So yeah, he was one take Charlie on that recording.
Hey, that's what it is, man. Sometimes, hey, you need to leave them in because it's a live recording and shit happens live, right?
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that when someone when someone writes something that's really good, not tooting our own horn, but like the song TUSK, like everyone's like, man, that's a really good song. It's like, well, eventually, like someone's gonna hear it and be like, that's too good, it's AI. So if you leave the mistakes in there, like the feedback cuts through in the middle of a riff or something and stuff like that, then you have your proof that there.
Okay, so Alonzo, you do studio work professionally. you're like, hey, do you have stuff you need drums on? I'm willing to do this, blah blah blah, doing the thing and the stuff. So when it comes to doing things like that, when you're, warts and all, kind of leaving that in the deal, do you get, what's the weirdest like request you've gotten from somebody? Have you got any weird requests to play drums on stuff?
Like in terms of playability, or just the music is weird?
The music is weird. Just like, what is this? Like, why am I doing what?
Not really that I can remember. I mean, I guess though that I'm kind of a weird person to ask that too, because I like a lot of really weird music anyway.
Sure.
But it's there's definitely parts in certain projects that I've worked on where like the drum part that they had like in Superior Drummer or whatever as like a tab for me to kind of go off of is kind of been like people don't actually play that, right? That's kind of usually what I have to contend with, but like thankfully I will say most of the people that I've worked with, like, that hasn't been the case.
That's cool.
Most people have like a good understanding of like the limitations and dynamics of drummers because they're used to working with drummers. It just so happens that they don't currently have one. So
yeah. Oh no, you're right. Because I know somebody that's his constant thing of like where he's applied, he's auditioned, I applied. Like, like it's a real-time thing here.
Playing Megadeth, you gotta apply for the job. But
what's that?
you playing Megadeth, you gotta apply for the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you play in Megadeth if you apply for the job. Yes. Yeah. and it said it so much by Dave Ellison.
You had him on here, right?
Yeah, no, and he didn't say it on Mike's show. He said it on his, where when he left and came back to Megadeth, he came back as an employee. He didn't come back as an actual member when he left. And so he applied for the job.
That's strange. Wow. Okay.
I know you've worked here before, but do you meet the qualification?
Play your benefits. You gotta start over.
Yeah. Your accrued benefits are nil at this point. You lost all your seniority when you quit. Fucking that age-old fucking ridiculous fucking bullshit boss life.
I wonder if they have to have their own HR department now.
Oh gosh, that would be hilarious. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's all under Dave.
Dave is HR.
He's like head of the HR department. Hello, me. Meet the real me. I'm the CEO of the company.
Somebody the other day said that Dave Mustaine sounds like Beavis, and I have not been able to unhear that ever since.
Yeah, I could.
Absolutely. And dude, that would be hilarious if that's how Mike Judge actually got the voice.
Probably
was because it's like, Mr. Anderson obviously became Hank Hill. Damn it, them boys are walking in my tool shed.
Damn it, boy.
No. Anyway, we're just sitting here fun. This is what this show is. It's all just riff. There's all thriller, no filler. It's all riff and no verse, so
yep.
Okay, so dude, the video, the fucking Sunsetter video, Jesus, like okay, so couple things I love about it. A lot of things I love about it. It's almost like, to me, like, I am a thrash fan. I love Motorhead. Just anything like the old school way of doing things. And that video is total callback in the sense of the word to me, because it has elements of everything. It has elements of of candles. It's got the candle light, and they're just to a point where they're just barely there sometimes because the opacity and then you get like the cemetery stuff and the band shots and everything just kind of overlays and underlays and does all this stuff. And it's funny because as I'm here, I have those candles too.
Perfect. You should have been there.
Dude, I actually sent a message saying, hey, I would love to either edit or direct. And of course it was like a 5-hour drive. I think I sent that to Jason too. That Jason needed to apply to direct your video. And he's like, why would I do that? And it's like, because it's awesome. It's awesome. It gives you something else to do, man.
Yeah.
But no, I totally dig it. So tell me about doing the video, because like I said, it's shot beautifully.
Yeah. So the person that shot that video and did all the editing, her name's Jerry. She kind of works in tandem with the 529 venue in Atlanta, which it's kind of becoming like our new hangout spot because like our label is based in the same area.
Sure.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job. I knew that Jacob was kind of storyboarding with her a little bit and kind of coming up with some ideas, but I didn't really know what to expect when we showed up. It was just like, all right, I'm gonna look like I do when we play, and I'm gonna play this song fucking 6 hours the same song.
I mean, truth be told, you do look like you're about to go play right now. So I mean, you don't really change much.
No,
But anyways, you were there for like 6 hours.
Yeah, no, we played that song like over and over, like, and it's not my first video, so I know how it goes, but it's like we wanted to make sure we got like the best shots from everybody, and then we did like the kind of B-roll footage with Kiana, who was the model in the video, just kind of after the fact, and Jacob doing his dramatic thing. And I think they got a lot of that cemetery footage nearby at a cemetery. But the whole thing was, we knew it was going to be very atmospheric. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. We didn't want to be like just play by the book. We kind of wanted the undulating imagery kind of going back and forth and weaving a web, so to speak. And they totally pulled it off. And when it came out, it was very well received. We had a Decibel premiere it on their website and everything. So we're very pleased with it.
I rewatched it again a couple of times yesterday. Jason had sent it to me. He's like, dude, you got to watch this. And yeah, I'm glad that I did. And because he kept sending it to me. He's like, did you watch that video yet? And I'm like, and like a week went by and I was like, dude, I haven't had a chance to. And then I finally sat down and I was like, holy shit, this is really fucking good. Seen some things I might try and steal in there. No, the cemetery shots though are amazing. Like I love like that old school, like you could tell it's like a very old cemetery, like with the architecture of the mausoleums and stuff. I think that's really cool. And just on the other stuff, like even like I said, where the candles appear like they're floating and just like the atmospheric parts of the video just really tie it together. And dude, the band shots, I was like, I asked Jason yesterday, I was like, is that filmed at the Odd? And he's like, I think it was done at Eulogy. And I was like, dude, wherever it is, like the way it's done up, it looks fucking amazing. I love the backdrops, the side banners. I mean, I'm a huge advocate for stage show.
Yeah, and so all of that was shot on location at EAV in Atlanta, 529. And a lot of that does come with like what we try to bring together live. Like we do bring those banners everywhere we go, despite how cumbersome they may be. And that is one thing I think we are looking to introduce more in the near future as we release this record, is just trying to get more theatrical as we used to. I mean, you used to go to an all hell show and we'd have like lit candles on stage, and we had some venues tell us like, yo, this is a fire hazard. We should probably not do so much of this, especially because people are like moshing into the amps. And like, okay, it kind of makes sense, you know. But we're finding other ways to sort of fill in that void. And I
Dude,
think,
no,
yeah.
absolutely. And honestly, like we were talking a little bit beforehand, the spirit Halloween stuff,
Mhm.
how the quality's pretty well dipped a lot lately. And honestly, I found that places like that, if you have any kind of like ingenuity, like you have, even if you watch a YouTube video on how to like do like corpsing of a plastic skeleton,
Mhm.
and even just that little stuff
Yep.
that can lead, the side drops next to a big backdrop, really fills out the stage a lot. And
Mhm.
I'm dude, as cumbersome as they may be, yes, you
Yeah.
got to take them, because I mean, I'm in the same boat. I use speaker stands or light truss stands for mine.
Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh God, I got to set this up. But when I get a picture or when I watch the video, and I'm sure the same for you, when you see like that landscape shot of the band, and you've got the banners on there and you've got your drums in the middle, it just looks fucking amazing.
Oh yeah.
Makes
Oh
makes
yeah.
you look like makes it look like you're fucking playing in a lot bigger place.
Mhm.
And that's the way you should be giving people a show, you know, because like I said, I've always said this, like any five dudes or chicks can get on a stage and play music, but giving someone a show, giving something memorable for, say, dude, I've got to see this band again,
Yeah. Yeah,
because why not?
we absolutely have established like within like our own ideology, like we're not like a jeans and t-shirt kind of band, you know. We really do like theatrics. We like to immerse ourselves as well as the audience. Like we want to be into what we're doing, and you can't really do that if you're having a glorified band practice, you know.
Sure,
So it's like
exactly.
it's kind of setting the mood not just for the audience, but also for yourself. Like I usually take a second, like when I'm like sitting on my drum kit, like to just kind of like focus a little bit before we get started, and kind of just it's almost like a split personality thing happens at that point, you know, just kind of change into, you know, some sort of other being for like the rest of the set. And then you get
Sure.
off stage and you're just your normal goofy self again, you know, but
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
No, I think that's totally a thing.
Yeah.
I know it is for me too, because once I'm like setting up, I'm like coordinate,
Yep.
doing the thing like, hey, get this, get it going. But once I get on stage, it's completely different, because usually it's a change of clothes, hair's wet down, you get into there for the performance, and yeah, and then once you're done, yeah, then you go back to old, normal. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because it is a different experience.
Hmm.
And I know, Jason, you're getting into the theatrics a little bit more too now. You've got some pretty cool stuff going on. You're kind of quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I was just listening. Yeah, basically the backdrop we just got and haven't used yet because all the venues have video screens now. And yeah, and the Gorgon head, of course, has been there for a while.
Hmm.
So yeah. And
But
then
you've got some other cool stuff too, don't you? Like this, like the Sauron masks and stuff.
oh yeah, I haven't made them yet, but they're out there waiting for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
I got them.
you're gonna put like he's getting all like high tech and LEDs and stuff, which that's one of the things that playing on shows, and like we've got a candelabra on stage and everything, and obviously the candles here being in the house and whatnot, but like these have really come into like really good deals, because you got that LED thing going on, and it does the job for what it's supposed to do, and for a live setting, I mean, that flameless, like, LED light stuff, it seems to work well.
It's funny Elon talking about the candles because I remember when I first saw Hell with with the candles on stage. I was like, "What if those are LED or real?" It's like, dude, if someone knocks this over, man, this could be a death clock incident here waiting to happen. And I was like, they got to be LED. But finding out they were real is pretty cool too. It's like, well,
I think it just kind of depended on like
good chance.
which venue we were at or something. But yeah, so
Yeah, I think once you start getting a somewhat sizable amount of people to your show, and you're playing in 100 cap or even 250 cap venues, if you're pulling sizable people to venues in those sizes, it's probably good that you should switch to LED, because you don't want a great white scenario going on, which was a 100 cap venue. But that was like full pyro show apparently. So,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I don't think All Hell's doing full pyro either.
not yet. Yeah, you never know for the future.
Yet. Not yet. It's coming though. Be there for the album release, because it's happening. So what do you all have going for the rest of what does Elante and All Hell have going for the rest of 2025?
Yeah, it's mostly we got two album release shows. One is going to be a couple days after this podcast was released, and then the next one is going to be in Atlanta. The first one's going to be at Eulogy, and the next one's going to be at EAV, which we've been talking about. It's kind of like a label showcase. But yeah, it's been kind of like we're figuring out what else we can do throughout November, and we're kind of still in the booking process of that, but I think we got a couple of things planned. I have to look at my schedule again.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right. So no unboxing segment this week, because even the drummer of the band, I'm like Lars, I'm the drummer of the fucking band, doesn't even have the box set for the band's release.
Not yet. We got to go to Atlanta for that. So,
Well, I like to look at it like this. You didn't get your copy of the box set because it got sold and went to somebody else.
Yep.
It went to it got sold to Jay. No.
Well, it's also, the record's not out yet. I'm not sure when it all ships out, or when it's going to make it to everybody.
That's something that's really been cool. I'll say this, like most labels and independent people, like say they have say it is 9/26 when it comes out. Okay. But like most places, shipping on or around 9/26. And I've legitimately almost every time been so fortunate to, when I've bought a pre-order like that I have received it by the day it came out.
Nice. And I can say like the album release show at Eulogy is going to be the day before, I believe, and we will have copies there for that, and
hell yeah.
So I imagine a lot of people will have gotten their stuff because it's all ready at this juncture.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're just waiting. We're waiting on the sunglasses. No.
Are you selling the sunglasses out at the merch table?
Oh God. I think that's a box set only thing, but I can certainly inquire. And dude, there's a funny story about the whole sunglasses thing.
Yeah.
I had like that idea in the middle of the night one day. I was like thinking about merch ideas for Sunsetter, and I was like, Sunsetter sunglasses. Like I gotta text Jacob about this. I was like, yo, like what would happen if we did that? Is that a possibility? And he's like, so funny you should mention that. I already made an order for that. So he beat me to the punch, man. I thought I was being like a marketing genius, and he beat me to it.
Dude, he was on the Metal Forge a while back. While they were it was weird because I think he was on vacation at the time and he was visiting family. So he was recording from the car.
Oh wow.
And he was riding shotgun while somebody else was driving as he was doing I just had a burnout. Hang on.
For our audio audience, Mark is baffled by something that just happened.
Yeah, hang on. No shit. So yeah, for the audio listeners, that was I lost my shit there for a second. This is the second time I fucking cut this fucking podcast. I usually don't do that. I usually just leave it in and edit. But no, trying to make the job a little easier. Yeah, but lights were kind of going weird on my end here. I had candles burn out. We summoned the beast of Jacob, talking about him as Jason said a second ago. But yeah, he was riding shotgun. He was it was just so cool. But yeah, he seems like a super creative person and like definitely with his finger on the pulse.
Yeah,
like when it comes to stuff like that.
I would certainly say so. It's the amount of ingenuity that he brought to this album, because obviously this is my first record with All Hell, and so prior to this I haven't had a glimpse into the songwriting process. So seeing all of that kind of come together, and then all of the lyrics come together, all the art and everything, you kind of get this cool play-by-play of like what happens where that previously I didn't have context for. But he's an extremely creative individual, and both he and Eric are. Eric is the bass god, as I like to call him, and as he probably has asked me to call him before.
Ryan, that All Hell's bass player, has a title, so
he's bass god.
Dude, like
he's gonna listen to this and be like, "Yep, he said it good."
but Jason, time out, Elonte, hang on.
Yeah.
Why doesn't fucking Ryan have a title is why I'm wondering, because in Ice Owl I'm Mark Thunderous Bass Titan.
Yeah, he's I call him pedal lord now, because
pedal lord.
he's basically all pedal DI, like that's it. So yeah,
you should call him cyclist, because he's always on them pedals, baby.
Yeah. Yeah,
Lance.
It's like Lance, it's kind of like
strong.
It's kind of like Darth Vader. It's like he used to be man, now he's all pedal.
He's more pedal now than man.
Yeah.
Twisted and
bass player. Sure.
Oh yeah. Elonte, I also do some general profile questions about you as a person. We call this section Derailed, but as you can see, this show is all over the fucking map as it is. I got to get the cattle prod out there to fucking Jason talk.
But you got to rein it in sometimes,
Yeah, I have to, because dude, like he will sit there the entire fucking thing, entire fucking show. And I'm like, Jason, do you have anything to add? Oh, I got lots of stuff. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Jason, do you have anything you would like to ask Elonte before going to Derailed? What are we talking about? Album stuff? What are we talking about? Stage show stuff? What do you want to ask before? I want you to be a co-host.
Okay. I haven't seen Jacob at Walmart lately. Is he good?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
no, he's good.
Sure. I used to run into him all the time. I haven't seen him in like a few months. So
I can say he's been traveling a lot more.
Okay.
I think he's been spending a lot of time like in Charlotte, and like he'll randomly be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Indiana for a convention or something," So
Damn,
okay.
If he's in Indiana, he needs to hit my ass up.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
What's your favorite song to play that you didn't record?
That we didn't record?
That you didn't record, like from their back catalog.
From the catalog.
Oh geez. Oh man. Vampiric Lust is one of my favorites. And it's cool because there is a track on the new record, the Bleeding, that kind of has like a similar energy. And I kind of wanted to channel that a little bit, but like it still is like Vampiric Lust is like it's got an unmatched energy that the previous drummer Kurt did a top-notch job with. And I feel like this new record, I'm just trying to do him justice, so
cool.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I always like the Devil Wolf a lot.
Oh yeah,
and Neon Babylon's cool too. Yeah,
Neon Babylon is it's weird because like that song's not necessarily fast on double bass the whole time. You're doing a steady double bass, but it's just right at the tempo where it is enough to make me more fatigued than all of the double bass and like the rest of the set, because it's just like this plotting thing that's got to stay evened out, and like you use your muscle groups in a different way, so it's pretty wild, man.
I think like the song "Wake the Dead" by Motorhead is that way, where it's like it's like double bass goes the exact but it's like the rat-a-tat-a rat-a-tat-a.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that consistent, the like 7-minute fucking song for them.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole fucking way. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying there. The consistency of the song, where it may not be speed or technique, it's just like the way it works. And just like that hammering is what's up for sure. Dude, I had this awesome thought, and like, we need to like reach out to Jarvis and make this happen, because the fucking best tour package out there today would probably be All Hell, Night, and Midnight. It's a cool fucking tour package, dude. Because like, I think you all like with like Night, even with, or that blackened thrash is just, I think that, dude, that would be a killer fucking set of shows.
Yeah, I had a blast at that show that we all played, you know, the Night Demon and Oblivion Throne, when I was, you know, doing that. And I think we played with Nunslaughter not long after that, and they invited us to come and play with Midnight with them. And of course, you know, Oblivion Throne's not really active at the moment, but like, I would like to be like, hey, but we got All Hell, who has been active for a while. Like, we can totally pull that off.
Pivot in. Yeah, it never seems to work out that way. I did something similar for a show recently. It's like, hey, we've already said that we're not taking any more shows, but instead I have this, and they're like, well, we kind of want to stick with something here.
But the Night Demon show that Elon's talking about, I actually was like asking about Sear the Ungle to play originally, because they're playing Prog Power that weekend in Atlanta, and it was like the same weekend. So I was like, hey, you know, how much would it take for Sear the Ungle to like play here first for going down there? And he was like, they're not, but Night Demon's available. And that's why I was like, oh, well, it's funny you ask. That's gonna be my next question. But yeah, so after negotiating and all that, it worked out. That was like the most high profile show I've ever like promoted and like put on. And luckily we broke even. So yeah, that was a very successful show.
When Jarvis said Night Demon's available, he immediately turned into the Philip J. Fry, take my money.
Well, it was like, at first it was like, yeah, if we just have like this, and this, I was like, well, I can do this, I can't do this, and maybe this, you know. And it was like, we had to like get to a point where it's like, basically they just flew out, so they had airfare money to get to the Sear the Ungle show. It's what it turned into. So, which was fine, you know. But yeah, I was like 62 pre-sales at $20 each. Door sold the rest of them. Man.
Yep.
Hey, that's what works. That's the way it works, man. You know, you do it that way, and hey, breaking even on a show like that, you know, I'm totally fine with on like festival shows when you break even and stuff, just because it's what it is. There's so much more that goes into it. So the possibility of like, you know, making sure everybody's paid is, you know, it's a lot more strenuous and stuff. But like if it was just like a typical Friday, Saturday show, yeah, I mean, it would probably be a little bit of a bummer, I would think that, but like on a festival, dude, no, it's totally where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did a lot of first things. I picked up a band at the airport, and that was my first time. So that out of the way. Booked a high profile band for like a comeback show, because it was like,
he held the dude.
I didn't have the sign. I had a sign, but the airport's so small that they like recognized me from like the fucking hangar, because the actual airport is like really tiny. Like you better get out and you're at the front door. So like that, I just with a plane, there they were. So there was no sign needed, you know.
So I'm gonna do the thing next time. I'm gonna next time I pick up a band from the airport, I'm gonna carry the sign that says Spinal Tap, just like in the first movie, and just hold it up.
Yeah.
Better.
So yeah, I do like to ask some general questions about you as a person. Would you ever do a ride along with a cop? And if so, what would you like to see?
Oh God. You know, I might
Would
have
you take him to
answered.
the slaughterhouse? No. Say, this is where you go if you misbehave. No.
I would have probably been more like apt to do so years ago, but I don't know, man. After like the last couple of years and seeing what cops have been doing by and large, I kind of want to just like ride perpendicular to them at all times, you know? So
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
I mean, shit. I don't even like cops following behind me.
Yeah. Right. I used to be like, yeah, don't put all cops into the same, you know, same reputation or whatever, but it turns out just the more and more you look at it, it's like, well, the type of people that they typically hire, you got to kind of question what their intentions are.
Motives and
Now, if
yeah.
anybody wants to prove me wrong, like please do. Don't get me wrong
You
there.
can only go with what your own eyes see, and the perception is like, I get that. I feel that perception as well. And yeah, I'm sure, there is still the the one person that's like, that is the social justice warrior cop, that's like, no, this is not fucking right. You shouldn't do this, and we should all be doing stuff like so and so and whatnot. But like,
I can say I had a really cool cop one time. I was driving around. I think it was actually back from playing a gig, and guy pulls me over, and I look over, and I forgot that I had like a bullet belt in my like seat next to me. I was like, oh shit, he's definitely gonna be like, what's up with this guy? And he like asked me a couple questions. I'm like kind of looking at him nervously. And I'm like answering whatever I got to answer. He's like, "What's that next to you? What's that in your seat?" I was like, "Oh, it's a belt for." He's like, "Dude, calm down. I used to be into Death Angel." I was like, "Thank you, okay." And he just let me
that
go. Yeah,
okay, so I had one thing with that. I used to be into Death Angel.
yeah,
What changed, officer? Officer Bar Brady, whatever your fucking name is. What?
right.
Look at me here. What changed? You should still be into Death Angel.
Right. Come on, man. He probably was. He just wanted
Now
to
he's
hear.
into Five Finger Death Punch because he's a cop. No.
Probably. You never know.
What about you,
God.
Jason? Would you ever want to do a ride along with a cop, and what would you
Sure.
want to see?
Yeah, I would. I mean, you can just see what goes on. Like, there is a lot of weird shit that happens, like, that nobody really ever hears about or doesn't get to see the camera footage or anything. Because Micah's stepdad used to be a cop.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the only. Actually, he still is. He's a resource cop now at one of the schools. But yeah, his name is Reggie. So shout out Reggie if you're watching this. I see you all the time. I never talk to you because you're busy. But yeah, I mean, there's good ones out there,
You
But
should
like,
stop
Yeah,
and say, hey,
there
Jason.
are.
but
You
well,
see him
no,
all the time. You should stop and say, hey, because that could make his day.
well, the thing is, he's always like has his back turned or like talking to teachers or something. So I don't want to like hold the school line in the morning and yell out the window.
Ah,
No,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, he doesn't open car doors. He just like flirts.
Nice.
So yeah, so there's that.
How you doing, Mrs. Schaefer?
Basically, yeah, probably something like that. Yeah.
The closest I ever came to a ride along with a cop is so
You got
when
a
I was in my when I was arrested? No. I've never been arrested.
I haven't either.
Knock on wood.
Not yet.
No, was when I was a teenager, we would always go. Taco Bell was always, it's the latest restaurant because they were open till 4 a.m. Well, here it is around like 1 or something, and we're out at Taco Bell. And being in a small town, a lot of people,
Mhm.
and being friends with some of the junior officers on the police force and shit, because you're not that much different in age. And so, leaving the restaurant, and they were all sitting there and saying, "Oops, see you guys later." He's like, "Yeah, we'll see you later." I was like, "What is that? Some kind of sick cop joke? You gonna pull me over or something?" And the motherfucker did. And he did. And just as I was about to turn in my friend's driveway, he was like, pop. He was like right fucking there. And he was fucking just being that guy. Who is your idol and why?
Oh man. Let's talk specifics here. Are you talking musical or just in general?
In general, this is about you. This
Oh
is general.
man.
This is everyday life. This is whatever it is, man.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't really know. I'd like to give an answer, but I think the only person that I've ever met that I'm just like I want to be this guy was this. There was this artist dude that I met. I think his name was Andrew. I don't remember where exactly he was from, but he was from some country in Africa that I guess like I got to talking to him one day at a coffee shop, and he was talking about how like he was given a gun at like 12 years old and told to like go shoot the neighbor kids or whatever because they weren't part of the same like uh, group as their family was. And it was just kind of like he eventually had to flee that situation and like come to the United States with like no money at all. But the thing is about this guy is he was like always the most like happy, the most beaming, the most creative, and like the warmest person you'd ever meet. And so when I heard that story from him, I'm like, how are you this happy? He's like, because I'm not in that anymore. And like you have to like just kind of live your life and be appreciative of where you are and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. That's always kind of like been my my MO now is like if you've seen a lot of shit, like it should encourage you to I guess see the world a little bit differently and try to be more grateful and appreciative. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever your last name is, Andrew, whatever, you're my idol. I'm gonna pick for this question.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
That's yeah. I mean, seeing crazy shit and nobody really puts much stock into the thing of seeing like going and looking at all of the things that have you've been witnessed and been part of and seen and I'm sure it's all kinds of crazy stuff that happen out there. People get guns pulled on them and unsuspecting, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Shit happens. And like it's like the saying of like look at all of the stuff that you've lived through already. So it's like, yeah, keeping the positivity going for because fucked up shit's gonna happen regardless. You just got to
Yeah.
make best out of it.
You just got to be realistic, and I think there is a measure of toxic positivity that you do see out there. Like people try to like bypass the understanding of the negative, and you can't do that either. You have to be realistic, but I do believe
I
that
think those are
trying
live,
to
laugh, love types.
yeah, oh yeah, exactly. 100%. I
I'm
think
a
I
I'm
think
a live, laugh, load type myself.
hell yeah.
That was
At
a
least
that was
you're
a
not
Metallica.
live, laugh. At
That was a
least you're not
Metallica
live,
pillow.
laugh.
Yeah,
What's that?
that was a Metallica pillow. Actually, it was on their store.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
live, laugh, load,
yeah.
dude. That's literally that's the nut pillow.
Oh
I
man.
got the reaction. I thought it was funny they fucking made that and to sell. So
Dude.
Uh, fucking yikes, man.
The nut pillow. Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Uh,
oh.
it's Sunday morning, people. What is it?
This is what happens when you're not in church on Sunday morning.
This is what you're missing when you're sitting in the pew.
when you're taking a pew.
Oh God. Uh,
Oh my gosh. Jason, what about you? Do you have who's your idol and why?
Man, I don't know. Like everyone's so flawed nowadays. I just probably say my dad, who's not
I
here
get that.
anymore. But he's just trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so am I. So I get it. It's like you're a product.
I
of
can
so if nobody's perfect. My dad certainly wasn't, but he did the best. I'm here. I got a lot of shit. So I must be doing okay because of him. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. No, and and that there's quite a bit of people that are out there that that are just like I could say dad as well, because just even if it's like whatever, but yeah, totally get that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Hell
hard to like idolize somebody because everyone's flawed, So
For
Yeah.
sure.
Like,
Especially now, because everything's so out there. It's
Yeah.
like, you can't like take John Wayne. A lot of people idolize John Wayne for so long, and then other things finally surface where he's like, has some really racist comments in interviews and shit.
yeah.
And then you're just like, fuck, man, was he really that bad? And
I
it's
remember,
like,
I remember when we first started talking, you asked me why I don't have any tattoos. And I remember I just told you a blunt answer. It was like Chris Benoit, and you're like, "What the fuck?" Because like, yeah, because if I would have got a Chris Benoit tattoo when he was like, before pre roid rage murder spree, like I'm
Yeah.
stuck with this fucking thing forever, or I have to get it like. So why? It's like I don't idolize anybody because nobody's perfect, So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's why I
Sure.
don't do it,
Here, I'm gonna bring back an old school question for this, and not use this one that's on the deck really fast. What do you collect, Elante?
Jeez, what do I collect?
Bands.
New hobbies. Oh God, yeah, bands. There you go. I don't. I could probably say books.
Okay.
I have more books than I'll probably ever finish, but like I am an avid reader, like when I have time, of course. But I imagine myself in the future, if I ever have like the inability to play drums for bands or whatever, all I'm gonna do is just like read books like all the time, like out next to the seaside or whatever. I don't know. It just seems like if I'm gonna surround myself with anything, it's gonna be like the collective works of humanity, I guess.
Sure.
No,
You know-
no Last Ronin graphic novel that you laughed at me about.
Uh-oh. Is that okay, so
Well, I was making fun of his name, not making fun of his name, but I was saying his name was O'Neill. I was like, oh, like
Yep.
April O'Neill, and he was like Cowabunga. I was like, dude, speaking of, have you ever read the Last Ronin comics? Because like it's like it's a total like tone change from what the cartoons and stuff were. And you were like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, one of them becomes like a murderous, like revenge driven turtle, and like it's like a mystery, like which one it is. And like you had never heard of such a thing. I was like, dude, no, it's for real. It's really
Yeah,
real.
you told me about that, and I was like,
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that. I have to look that up now.
yeah,
it's called
it
The
came
Last
out a
Ronin.
few years ago.
Okay.
It came out a few years ago. It was like I think it's like a 5 or 6 issue short, and like short run. And oh my gosh, it's probably one of the best stories of any comic line since like Civil War and Marvel. Not that shitty movie, but the actual Civil War storyline from the comics.
I can say, like a couple of weeks ago, I was with one of my bands in Baltimore and walked into a comic shop, like a coffee comic shop, and they had this thing on the stands. It was like Sonic and DC mashup. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Sonic, yeah.
Well,
Hey,
I was like,
I gotta get going, Mark.
oh yeah,
Ran a little bit later, and I told Jackie, so she's got to get going, see the baby.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Elon, good to see you, man. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
to come to the release show. I'll be at the Castle Rat show if you're going to that.
hell yeah, cool, man. Sounds good.
Hell yeah. Jason, thank
All right,
you.
everyone. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.
Sounds
Hell
good,
yeah.
bud.
All right, see you guys.
See you, man.
See you. What is one thing that you think every human being should learn how to do?
I would probably say listen. Because I think it's even in my nature, it's in everybody's nature to be knee-jerk reactionary. Like when somebody's speaking, you're already like when they're like a third of the way through what they're saying, you're already coming up with a retort. And in some cases that can be useful, but I think in most cases for like intelligent discourse that can be kind of detrimental because you're not going to be able to hear what the other person's saying. And I'm saying this completely like I'm guilty of this as well, but I I do think that that's like a lost art, listening, and I think that's probably what could solve a lot of our issues that we're having, especially now as a society. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, no, you're absolutely right with that, because I think we as a society have stopped listening to what other people are saying, and are more at the point of, like you said, you're already formulating your reply based on 2.8 seconds of a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's just like you're really just there. In acting classes, they do a thing where it's like you don't use any words, you just say letters like A and B, and you inflect different tone in your voice. And honestly, I think, in the media world today, the media driven world, like whether it's content on YouTube or Netflix or Disney or whatever, it's like hammering content, and you're really just listening for the beat of the inflection
Yeah.
rather than the content that is being delivered.
Yeah.
And it's like, like if you wanted to sit there and you wanted to be like, feel sad and just say, hey, or stern and be like, hey, it's the same, and you're just listening to the inflection rather than the substance.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah, I see that a lot, like especially if you're watching the news, for example. Like for a while, I just stayed away from like watching the news at all. So like I kind of came back to it, and I was like, it seems as people are just spending all of their time on air arguing over each other, like trying to get in the last word. And it's like, okay, if you're doing that, you're wasting all of this time because we're not getting any further to a point being driven home than you were when you started speaking together. So it's kind of like when you're watching that as a society, you're not really doing yourself any favor. You're the same as you were 60 seconds ago, maybe more irritated.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and a lot of that stuff is definitely there for emotion play,
Yep.
whether and not even just trying to be on like a politic thing. It's not just in politics. It's not where most of the news cycle now is just a political, like, showering, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like rain of fire
Yep.
is what it kind of is. And it's just like, and it's almost like oh, did you see what this person did? Oh, did you see what this person? It's like that's your last word thing of what you're talking about. And it's like, who's gonna top this week, or who's gonna do the craziest thing today? And that's not the way anybody should live, I don't think. And listening is a great, is a great thing. Obviously, the other stuff out there, just like your basic stuff, like being able to learn how to cook, that was one of the things that my mom always said. It's like, you got to learn how to cook, because you might get with somebody who doesn't know how, and you have to provide for that person, and for yourself, because you can't rely on restaurants and all that shit your entire life. I mean,
Right.
some people can, I guess, but
Yeah. If
I
you're
don't
if you're
have that
loaded.
kind of money. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're loaded, I don't have that kind of money, but yeah, so that was one of the things but yeah, listening is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Little stupid one for this. Do you, when you're on the website, do you accept the cookies?
Oh God, no! I'm usually the person who's like, no, I deny everything. Like, I'm so bad that on my phone, I'll just like turn my location off, my Bluetooth off, all that stuff, because I don't know if I have some sort of deep-seated Orwellian like, you know, complex or something, but I'm just always like, I want to be as unreachable as possible, except for by like those close to me, you know.
Sure.
Um, so I just want to kind of be like a guy in the woods for the most part.
Yeah,
It's kind
like,
of hard to contend with, you know.
I think all of us have that idea because I'm that same way too. Because what I do is will, I'll get on there and start looking up like most secluded places in America to live,
Right.
and like, there's this one place, it's like out in like northern New Mexico, like right close to like the Colorado border or something. And it's all in a canyon. And there's like 400 people that live there.
Wow.
And like,
Huh.
there's no roads in, and you can only get in there by like donkey or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy shit, like that would be cool.
Right. I mean, you know, inevitably it's like, you know, I'm with my lady and our pets and stuff like that. And I really do value the people that I have around me and like the convenience, obviously, of being able to see everybody and everything. But like, don't get me wrong, there's some days when I just want to be like, hey, do you want to like go to like Novaya Zemlya or something like that? Just like somewhere completely remote. And I think I just have a habitual like desire to just fuck off, you know, somewhere like,
Sure.
but I have to kind of contend with the fact that that's socially irresponsible. And, you know, I have people in my life that I need to, you know, not inconvenience, of course.
Hell
But
yeah.
that's always been my thing, man. I just have this insatiable desire to just fuck off, you know.
Dude, no, like, I totally get that. Like me here, I have two cats and it's just me. And like, totally down for it. Just hanging
Yeah.
out on a Thursday night, kind of just not bothering anybody, maybe cutting a lyric video out or something and just saying, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
And not fucking with anybody and not having anybody fuck with me.
At the same
And
time, like I realize I'm such a social animal though, so it's like weirdly contradictory to that
yeah,
impulse because like I need like, you know, my partner, like she and I, like I can't imagine life without her, obviously. So I would want her to come with me wherever I go. But also the people around me, like my family lives nearby, like, you know, my friends live nearby, and I'm just like, you know, it's so contradictory. I think maybe what it is like I just want to like get away for like a weekend and then come back or something like that, you know.
mm-hmm.
Who knows?
I found that out, like, so back in during the pandemic, I took pretty much my entire vacation at one time.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, I had a week to spend, and I made it to where I had like, it was like Labor Day and the full week, and then like the like the to like the Tuesday after. So I had off like 12 days from work or whatever.
Nice.
And or no, it was actually it was like 2 full work weeks. Is basically what it worked out to with the vacation time and like the weekends on top of that. So what I did, I went on vacation by myself and went to like Virginia Beach, Chesapeake Bay, and just hung out, did the things. One of those days I drove down to like almost to like Wilmington.
Nice. Okay.
And just drove like the coast road down on fucking like the East Coast there, going down to like North Carolina and shit. And it's so weird and interesting and wild, just like that meditation in the wind kind of thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's funny. I was actually like just this last week thinking I really need to do that for at least a weekend, you know. Like
mm-hmm.
I was like one of the things that I've taken up is longboarding. I've been a skateboarder my entire life, but my knees and my feet can't really handle the impact anymore. So longboarding has kind of been a stand-in for me. And I've been fantasizing about just going to the coast and just like not doing anything other than just longboarding across like the like I guess the walkways or
Yeah, like the
the
boardwalks and
piers.
stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
boardwalks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just doing that, because that's like a meditative thing, because like you're literally like you can't think about too much while you're trying to focus on staying on the board. So it's like it is a
Sure.
meditative, completely just like no mind activity. And I just need that, dude,
What's
for
the
the same
worst
reason.
skateboarding injury you've had?
Oh, geez. I've actually I've gotten through without too much crazy injury. Like I snapped my tailbone once. That sucked. Um, I think the worst though is like I fell off of a rail and there was like a shard of glass from like a bottle or something on the ground and it hit me like right here.
Oh shit.
And yeah, and it was bad, dude. And I still have a scar on it, but like if it were any worse, dude, it could have probably been it for me.
Dude, like yeah. Those injuries, like I've always that's always been a thing. Like for me, it's like I'm like I wear this bracelet and shit, and I'm like super conscious with it because it's like the pieces right here and it twists easily.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, just like you got to be super conscious with it, and like yeah, you're right with like being able to keep stuff adjacent and like not think about too much, but think about everything that you should.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a mind clearing experience doing stuff like that. And
Mhm.
even like, riding a bicycle is the same way for
Oh
me,
yeah,
anyways,
for sure.
because it's like you're paying attention to everything else, like the pedals, the cars, you're being mindful of everything, and you should be. It's very mind clearing as well.
Yeah, you're not thinking about like what's wrong in my life right now. You're going like, is this car gonna hit me, or like, is this rock in front of me gonna fuck my shit up? So it's pretty much the same thing as riding a bike. Yeah, in that way.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna do some people here. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the either ors, uh Clive Burr or Nico McBrain.
Oh man, I'm gonna say Nico. That
Nico Mc
guy. Yeah, like I really respect the fact that he didn't like depart from the single bass thing, because like everybody around him started developing that and he was just like, no, I'm gonna play what sounds like double bass on single bass and screw you guys. And I was like, man, like I can't personally do that. Like I can for like a minute, but I'm just like, what he's doing is so based in his own upbringing and his like inability to depart from it, and I
Oh,
respect that.
absolutely. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh Nico McBrain or Vinnie Paul.
uh I'm still gonna say Nico. Yeah, I
Okay.
like what Vinny did in a lot of in exactly the opposite. Like he kind of popularized doing double bass in creative ways, for sure. But I think that Nico kind of held his ground and was still saying like, yeah, you don't have to be extra showy in order to do these bass parts. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay. Nico on round two. Nico or Neil Peart.
Okay, you got me, Neil Peart. I grew up a big Rush fan.
All
My
right.
dad, my dad raised me on Rush for sure.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yep.
yeah. Uh Neil Peart or Alex Van Halen.
Uh, Neil Peart.
Neil Peart.
He's
Uh
divinity to me.
I get you.
Yeah.
I uh Neil Peart or Danny Carey.
Oh God. Hmm. Okay. The best way to answer that is Neil Peart walked so Danny Carey could crawl. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like that's totally cool because like I think out of that band, out of Tool, he probably has the most creative input out of any of the other members
Yep.
aside from Adam himself. Because I
Yeah.
think Adam pretty much maps everything out, or did at one point mapped everything out, and they just basically recorded their parts.
Yeah.
But like I think over the years, Danny and Adam have been more of the spearhead of the band than anything because of just of the the stuff that Danny can come up with.
Yeah, and kind of concurrent to that as well is like, their contemporaries in Meshuggah, like they're not the same exact band for sure, like obviously there's difference between the two, but Thomas Hokke absolutely kind of drives a lot of what a lot of drummers endeavor to, and there weren't a whole lot of bands doing what Meshuggah was doing, so much that you have all these people creating what they call like, gent now. It's just like, who knows what the hell that even means, but like they're just basically copying the Meshuggah framework. And I think that people start doing that with Tool as well. Like there's a band called Soen, which is really good, but a lot of people call it kind of just Tool Part 2, and it's like, you kind of have to accept that with a grain of salt, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. And I've also heard the thing of like, we were in a band. I was in a band 20 years ago. Okay. And the drummer came up with the drum part and everything. And the vocalist turned around and said, "Why don't you just steal Maynard's wallet while you're at it?" And it was just like, oh shit, did that just really happen? Like, did he just like, so Danny Carey or Mike Portnoy?
Oh God. I'm going to say Portnoy.
Portnoy?
Yeah.
Portnoy or Hoagland?
Oh, jeez, dude. It's a hard question. I really like Hoagland and his abilities and his drive and determination. I think Portnoy plays with more finesse, and that's always kind of like been more of my thing. Like a lot of drummers try to be as heavy as possible, and I, to an extent, I do, but I also like having like sort of more timbre in my playing and more finesse. So I would say he's probably influenced me a little bit more.
Portnoy?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the final boss moment.
Oh God.
And take this with a grain of salt, of course, because you know who it's going to be.
Who's this?
Portnoy or Lars?
After hearing Saint Anger, I'm going to have to say Lars.
Dude, that is dude, that is an ongoing joke in this podcast, is the Saint Anger thing.
Oh my God.
My like band door right over here, I actually have a little like 2x2 sticker of the album artwork. Just because it's like you're never gonna get away from it.
So it's funny because like, I'm a little bit of the younger generation, I would say. So like when I got into Metallica, I had heard like little glimpses of their first couple albums. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I like. This is great. So this was back in the day where like, you buy a CD at the mall or whatever without having heard it before. You just hope it's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh yeah, this new Metallica, like cool, man. I didn't know they were still doing stuff. And I brought it home, and even young impressionable me was like, really? Like what the fuck? What is this?
Well,
it's like musically it's not all bad, but I was just like, how does a band with this much status make a record that sounds like this,
For sure. And I think it's a multitude of things for that album. For one, I think listening to it in headphones is a vastly different experience.
True. Yeah.
Because in headphones, like you get all of the little goofy stuff, like where they kept the tape rolling.
Yeah.
Or you get something where like, there's one thing in particular where like James says something and it like comes through his pickups on his guitar.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that actually.
And they keep it in there. Yeah. And, just like weird stuff like that. But so like listening to it on headphones is a vastly different experience. Listening to it on vinyl is a vastly different experience too. Now, see, I made the mistake of watching the DVD before listening to the album. And my DVD player at that time was like plugged into my like little 13-inch television.
Yeah.
So obviously with that little speaker, there's like nothing that's going to be able to compensate for that like sound quality.
Yeah.
So and in the DVD at that point in time, when it was a band DVD, not a lot of them were mixed well.
Right. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So then again, it's like you're losing so much quality and in the audio alone. So yeah, there's like that's a thing. Is it a good album? As you said, there's good music parts, there's good vocal parts. On a whole, I think it does fall short of the mix, but I still defend it to this day. Because I'm a fan of their entire career.
Yeah.
And I can find something on every album that I like, and I can find something on album that I dislike.
I'm the same way with a lot of the bands that I like follow. Like for one thing, like one of my favorite bands ever is Satyricon, and a lot of people shit on their middle catalog because it's like, they kind of went off and did a more like black and roll kind of, I guess they were influenced by probably like, who knows? I mean, really. But when I got into them, that was kind of the context that they were starting to head toward. And I was like, actually, I kind of resonate with this. This is cool. And of course, I run into people all the time like, yeah, if you're not listening to Shadow Throne or like the first 2-3 albums, like you're a poser. It's like, well, dude, like, what are they going to do? Make that same record 50 times? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That doesn't work, and like, I'd rather have something, grow and evolve. And I think, especially with like the new All Hell record, we acknowledged collectively that we all had a very similar influence in a lot of stuff that was coming out like around that period, and it really bled into what we did with that record. So like even to this day, like that record that I heard back in like 2003 2004 or whatever kind of had some sway with what I'm doing now, like all these years later.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's all growth.
Yeah.
And you take in everything. It's like, and on the Metallica train, when it comes into the writing session stuff for them, I've often seen where James has told members to, listen to any and everything, get into other music and bring it back to Metallica, because it keeps ideas fresh. And like, I think I had read somewhere where like Kirk is a huge Chapel Roan fan. And I think, and James was too, apparently. Like James is a big fan of like Arctic Monkeys, which, for Metallica, it's like, wait, what? It's like, but hey, that's totally cool stuff. Alante, I have one more question. But before we do it, as always, links, they're listed below. So give likes, shares, follows, go do all the things and all the stuff. Go see these dudes on tour. Go buy box sets. Go buy albums, because that's what fucking matters. Support in any and every way you can. Do you have anything else you'd like to promote or anyone you would like to shout out today, sir?
It's mostly just what you're saying. I really find value in every single human being that comes to one of these shows, and I feel like just the more the merrier. So shout out to you if you're listening. If you have been to one of our gigs or would like to, you are family to us.
Hell yeah, man. I've definitely got the thumbnail for this week's show already ready in my mind. It's the picture from Steel and Stone of us where we're like, I'm told that's totally going to be the thumbnail for this show.
Perfect.
And it's going to be awesome. But dude, seriously, thank you for coming to the Metal Forge this week. This is awesome. Dude, meeting you a couple of years ago at Steel and Stone, it was awesome. I following you ever since then on like Instagram and stuff. You're definitely one of my favorite follows on there, because you definitely question stuff that should be questioned. You often make extremely articulate posts and are very you promote critical thinking on your page. At least from the stuff that I pay attention to, I notice that you're like, you seem to say, hey, even if it's just like in a did you catch this kind of thing? And whether it's music related or not, you seem like you add a bit of gravitas to it and want to, you want people to be informed. It is the way I feel from a lot of your Instagram stories that I read. So, dude, kudos to you for being like a stand-up dude, and just being an all-around great guy.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, and it's likewise, I choose my confidants carefully, and so you're always welcome in my sphere, man. I feel like you are doing what I wish that more people were doing. Like, I've been to other parts of the world where people were passionate about music, and I think there is that here in the States, but you also have a lot of ennui that you do tend to see. People are just kind of like, they feel like the bands owe them something, but you're kind of giving back to the bands, large or small, that you see out there doing the work. And I think that's what we need right now. So it's kind of a likewise situation.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate that. For me, it's just like, dude, this is I'm like Lemmy at this thing. I'm not really qualified to do much else.
Hey.
I work in a parts store. I can do that. I know how to mix chemicals for pest control. I've done
Sweet.
that. But hey, when it's the music, dude. It's like one of the things that's been around in my life for, at this point for more than 30 years, but 30 years of actively being pursuant of something. So
yeah.
My final question of the day, and I always like to get in like a little bit of a deep question, and with what we were talking about, like, being informed and the Instagram stories and whatnot, and just the mass profit 24-hour news cycle kind of thing. Why do you feel that why do you think that people out there believe that some of these are these mass shootings are paid crisis actors? Why do you think that people believe stuff like that?
Well, everybody is always most afraid of things that they don't understand. As people in the metal scene, we see that constantly. I think that people take one look at us and assume, the worst, obviously, and don't all understand that we're just nerds with cats and, but, it's always easy to blame the people that you feel like might be the most questionable. And to most people, if you sit outside of their bubble, you are the unknown, you are the scapegoat. And I think that, when you see evil being done in the world, like, you want to pawn it off on something as far away from you as possible, so that you don't feel complicit in your cultural, I guess, locus between you and that thing or that person. And I think that if you're putting enough degree of separation between you and evil, you feel like you're doing the right thing. When in reality, I think that the evil is sort of it's an impulse that we all could have, but the active decision to not act on it is what separates the good from the evil in society. It's a choice. Everybody has that within them. Everybody has the ability to change their life within the blink of an eye at any day of the week. And if you choose to stay within that parameter of your moral code, then good on you. But I think a lot of people want to look at their moral code like it's their way or the highway, and somebody that looks exactly the opposite of you that they don't understand is going to be like the antithesis of themselves. So I think that creates a lot of scapegoating, and I think the world is not as black and white as that. And kind of the aforementioned question where it led to me saying I think listening is the most important thing. I think that the more people actually give each other a chance to speak and like actually articulate what they have to say, like you're gonna be better off no matter what. Even if somebody's spouting bullshit, at least you're giving them the chance to. So
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. And in most recent events, everything what you just said, it spawns at listening. And it's just it's I've recently heard someone say that the world you grew up in is no longer there.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing that most people don't understand with like how, and when you said with scapegoating, that's exactly what it is. It's just because that world that they had when they were a kid, it's not there anymore. It's not the 70s anymore. It's not the 80s anymore. Time moves on, and you just adapt with everything, because ultimately I'm sure that there were people in the 50s that were like in the 30s and are like, this is bullshit,
Yep.
we're moving way too fast, and fucking,
Yeah,
nuclear family.
I'm a younger guy. I grew up in the 90s, mostly. And I do see the world changing in ways that I severely dislike. And it, I see a lot of people blaming like Gen Z, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's necessarily fair because, yeah, there might be a lot of things that they do that they want to move faster than the rest of society in some ways, but like at the same time, like they're just doing what we did. They're taking what they have, what point in time they were given, and doing what they can with it. But I actually am seeing a lot of Gen Z people with a lot more like critical thinking and
Mm-hmm.
articulation that our generation was afraid to do or like afraid to question. So it's like, I would love, if I were a surface level type of person, I would love to just blame everything on like, oh, it's their fault, those damn kids, but like it's
But it's
not.
not, because
It's
we're all
ours.
people. It's
Yeah.
everyone's fault.
Yes.
It's, we can't blame any, if we had legitimate extraterrestrial like contact,
Yep.
you could blame that. But you could, but like we don't, that we know of.
Right.
So yeah, it's totally our fault as
Yep.
a society. Why did the Roman Empire fall? Because they sucked as a society at a certain point.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they
uh,
subsumed everything else and tried to make it Roman, and that doesn't really work because like, and actually that brings up a good point too. Like, Rome tried to make everybody else like them.
mm-hmm.
And that kind of goes into what you were just saying about like, you know, blaming other people for your evils or whatever. But like, if you're looking at everybody else trying to homogenize that into one thing and bring it back to like what you're familiar with, it's only going to fail because the diversity in our world is what actually keeps things like floating, in a progressive way. Because
Yes,
where some ideas may fail, somebody else with a completely different way of thinking or living might be like, hey, but what about, eating better? Or hey, what about eating this? Or what about doing things this way on a governmental level? And like without that discourse, we're just gonna like stay in this like incestuous little bubble, and that's not good for anybody.
for sure. Dude, Elonte, thank you so fucking much. This has
Thank
been
you.
awesome. And dude, like social commentary is a thing that we do on here occasionally. I try to stay away from it, but like now more than ever, I think it's a thing where it's just like you know it's important more now than
Yep.
ever,
Yep.
especially in the wake of people like Jimmy Kimmel. Whether you agree with what he said or not, he didn't. I mean, personally, I don't see where anything was said that should have warranted him being taken off any kind of programming, but that's just
Mm-hmm.
me. But I mean, in a time and a place where everything is like this, I'm glad I have people like you, and the music that you're able to put out and everything. So, dude, that's what we do here. We play music And obviously, I'm going to cut in when Jason Lee left. I'm going to cut in a song there, right? Maybe right before Derailed. I don't know, somewhere in the show. But we're also going to leave out today on Sunsetter.
Cool. Yeah.
So
perfect.
Hell yeah. Awesome release shows. Looking forward to the box set myself. Dude, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. It's always a pleasure, man.
Dude, Sunsetter.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza Donisi. Pizza Donisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, to sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken, fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza Donisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza Donisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shade Beast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shade Beast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shade Beast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
In a broken wasteland.